Well, let's move on then. Fortis Health will acquire 31% stake held by PE players in its diagnostic arm, which is Agilis Diagnostics. To talk more about this development, the way ahead as well, we have Mr. Ashutosh Raghuvanshi, the MD and CEO of Fortis, who joins us on the show. Hi, sir. Good morning. Always good to speak to you, and thanks a lot for joining in here on CNBC TV18. Tell us about this latest development with regard to this PE stake. What does it take your stake to, and what are the plans out here?
Yes, so thanks for having me. So this was something which our PE investors had come in year 2012, and they have been very good partners for the business. We did have an obligation to provide them an exit, and they had a right to have exercised their put option, which they have. And this 31.8% for about 1,778 crores is what we are going to acquire, and that would take our shareholding to approximately about 88% post this acquisition.
Okay, all right. So the amount you're going to be spending is 1,780, right?
778 crores, yeah.
How do you fund this?
So we are an FOFC company, so we have to use an FPI debt route. So we will be, board has approved a listed secured non-convertible debenture for 1,550 crores, which we are applying for all the necessary clearances and shareholder approval. Once that is done, then this would be concluded.
Okay, all right. And what about an IPO then? You know, since post this particular deal, the next trigger the street will be looking forward to is what are the plans with regard to a listing? Back of an envelope calculation suggests that, it's currently valued at around 550 crores, 5,500 crores or thereabouts. Your comment on that?
Yeah, so Anuj, that's not something which we are focusing on right now. There are several reasons for that. And one of them is, that this business has underperformed to some extent, as you're aware. And we have had a lot of headwinds. The brand change had a negative impact as well. And then there was, some impact from the increased competitive intensity as well. So our focus right now would be to create these channels and digital channels, especially increase the presence in the specialized tests, genomics, etc., and improve the performance, bring it at par with the other industry players before we think of any event now.
Got it. So no IPO plans as of now. Mr. Raghuvanshi, this is Nigel on this side. And I have just one more query on this particular deal before we close the loop on this. As you said, the performance has yet to catch up. I think in the first quarter, the growth was low single digit, with margins in those high teens. What's the outlook for the remainder of the year on this particular asset?
Yeah, sorry, Nigel. So yes, that definitely is been the case, but we are seeing the performance improve. The revenue was kind of static for the last quarter, but we are seeing some improvement happening there. And all the efforts which we have started doing on the operational side in terms of increasing our contact points, etc., is yielding results. Certainly, the profitability is improving, and we expect the performance to improve from the previous quarter.
Mr. Raghuvanshi, hi, good morning, sir. Just to give us an update for the second quarter so far for the hospitals business. What's the so far, what is occupancy looking like, and RPOP, etc. Just some sort of numbers there for Q2 so far.
Yeah, so Q2 trend has been good. The occupancy numbers have slightly improved from the previous quarter. We had about 66% occupancy in the previous quarter. Now we are trending around 67 to 68% at the moment. And the RPOP numbers, as I had said earlier, would probably grow in a more modest way going forward. But so far, the growth has been good. And we are seeing that as a result of essentially this is coming on the backing of improving the case mix and also the surgical numbers improving.
Okay, got it. You know, every time you're on, Mr. Raghuvanshi, I always ask you about that IHH bit. And is there any movement at all? What's the latest? He's not kept the stock back, or it's not. I mean, investors, of course, looking forward to it, but it's not as if it's really hurt them because stock's done well. But any movement? I mean, it was going through the sort of courts and legal process. Can you tell us what's on?
Yes, so the High Court hearings have been happening very regularly. We expect that these hearings are almost towards conclusion. So there are maybe 1 or 2 dates which we will probably get, and that is happening within the month of September. So I think some resolution on that side would happen. At the same time, there is a movement on the brand side as well. And if we get the brand at a reasonable price, we would certainly be looking at acquiring the brand as well.
Sorry, could you explain that, Mr. Raghuvanshi? What do you mean by that? Acquiring the brand?
The Fortis brand. So
Right.
the Fortis brand, as you might be aware, was belonged to the erstwhile promoters company, and that is attached towards the proceedings in the Daiichi case. So Daiichi has made an application in the court to resolve this brand matter and give them the necessary payments. So we are sort of there in the High Court, and we will try to acquire the brand if there is a reasonable price at which it is available. And this matter is also likely to get resolved quite soon because this is already being heard in the Honorable High Court.
And these are two separate matters, right? The IHH and, of course, the brand matter. And
Yeah, these are two separate matters.
And what you said reasonable price? I mean, what are we looking at in the ballpark? I mean, if you can give us some indication.
So this matter is sub judice. I would not really like to comment because Daiichi has submitted some report on what the valuation should be. And so I would not be able to comment on that at the moment.
All right, very quickly, Mr. Raghuvanshi, before we let you go, we understand that you were looking to sell those not very profitable hospitals. I will outline that, the ones I think with margins of less than 10%. And by when do we see this take place?
So we have already exited 2 hospitals in Chennai last year. But there are few other smaller hospitals which we would look at, but those are not the larger ones. They are just the small facilities. We would probably be evaluating that, and maybe one of them we would try to exit within this year.
All right, Mr. Raghuvanshi, thanks a lot for joining in and giving us a fair idea about the recent deal, about how the hospital business is shaping up, and also your plans going ahead. We look forward to having a chat with you in the coming weeks. But for the time being, we'll slip into a short break. On the other side, we'll have Mr. Thiagarajan, the MD of Blue Star, to discuss how demand trends are shaping up. We'll also get excerpts from our conversation with the top management of Bajaj Housing Finance. Stay with us.